Very good evening, everyone. I welcome you all today for this learning session today evening. I am Preeti, one of the sales specialists at Protouch Professional Training. Before we start, let me give you a quick overview about us. Protouch is a certification institute which provides upskilling courses to the professionals like HR generalists, HR analytics, POSH, train the trainer to deliver POSH trainings, corporate trainer and facilitator, train the trainer certifications. We also provide customized programs. So all the programs are accredited by the topmost bodies like SHRM, HRCI, CPD, and IBEC. I'm so glad to see many existing students, team members, and aspiring students of Protouch who has joined in this learning session. I would love to know from which locations you all are joining. You can put it in a chat box. Great, Kasturi. Very good evening, Kasturi. Welcome. So please put your locations on the chat box. Great. Kolkata. Okay. Nazma from Kolkata. Rishabh from Nepal. Okay. Very welcome to you, Rishabh. Okay. Sunita from Delhi. Amazing. Nikita from Nasik. Nice. I haven't been to Nasik, but definitely I should be there. Allahabad from Mohana from Chennai. That's nice to hear. Amazing. Great. Lucknow. Utkarsh from Lucknow. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Rishabh. Okay. Great. I welcome you, everyone. So let's begin our learning session today evening with Mr. Rahul Sethi, our guest speaker of today's evening. It's our honor to have you, sir, today in the webinar. Over to you, sir.
Good evening. Thank you. Thank you, Preeti. Good evening, all, and very warm welcome. I'm so happy that you have taken out time for the session today. I welcome you all. And you have already mentioned which location you are from. Before I introduce myself, I would also love to know how many trainers are here. If you are a trainer, just put trainer in the chat box. If you are already a trainer or an aspiring trainer, you can put in the chat box if you're a trainer already. Kasturi is a sales trainer, of course. Someone is a trainer. Shashi is aspiring trainer. Okay, good. So is Mohammed Kazim. Great. Yogesh is trainer. Sheila is spoken English trainer. Great. Rishabh is aspiring trainer. Okay, good. Thanks for sharing, friends. And today we are going to have a very interesting discussion and slightly different discussion than what we normally talk about. So today, friends, we are going to talk about coaching as a capability for trainers. Okay? And how can trainers explore the benefit of integrating coaching into their training programs? Hi, Avinash, very warm welcome.
Sorry, I was in mobile, now I switched to laptop, sorry.
All right, great. Friends, this is not normally, we talk, but this is a very powerful way of developing people, and in my own personal experience, this combination have helped me, and I'm also joined today by Dr. Aparna, who's one of our directors in the organization. We both have integrated a lot of coaching practices to our training, and it has been immensely useful. I thought, let's use this opportunity to share this experience with all of you and give you certain insights. Friends, my name is Rahul. I'm one of the directors at Protouch. I lead the sales training vertical for the organization. I train and coach a lot of corporates in the area of leadership development, soft skill, and sales. I also lead some areas of analytics where I'm a director of our program on HR analytics and business analytics for management. Today, we are going to talk about how do we integrate coaching as a practice along with training. Yeah. So are you keen to know this? Just put in the chat box, yes, if you are keen to know how do we integrate uh, coaching to our training practice. All right, thank you everyone. Thanks for sharing. Now let's move ahead and uh, let's talk about the learning journey of any individual. Friends, whenever any individual, and we all are trainers, whenever any individual go through the learning journey, it starts, and most of the trainers know about this pyramid. It's a good idea to refresh our knowledge on this. So we start with unconscious incompetence, which basically means I don't even know that I am not competent on this, which is unconscious incompetence. From that stage, we move to conscious incompetence, which is a stage that now I am aware that I I don't have competence on any particular area, or I don't have those skills. From conscious incompetence, we move to from conscious incompetence, we move to conscious competence. Then now we start doing something consciously, and we develop those skills and competencies consciously, and we move to a stage where we start doing it consciously, which is called as conscious competence. And from there, we move on to the top of the pyramid, which is unconscious competence, which means now I start exhibiting those competencies unconsciously. Say for example, when I started learning cycling, there was a stage when I was not even aware that I don't know cycling. I was not aware what cycling is. From there, I realized that there is something called as cycling, but I don't know how to do it. However, I want to do it. Then, which is a stage of conscious incompetence, that I'm aware that I don't know cycling. Then I moved to conscious competence, where I started learning and I consciously started cycling. And then I reached a stage of unconscious competence, where I was not even concentrating on my cycling. I was doing other stuff. Maybe I'm eating apple along with I'm cycling, and I started doing different stuffs on cycling, which is a stage of unconscious competence that you start doing it unknowingly. And that's a classical journey most of us go through whenever we are learning any new skill. Friends, whenever we are conducting any skill development program for our participants, let it be for any corporates or at an individual level, uh, many a times we are able to unlock the full potential of that training in those sessions, right? Sometimes people are able to extract a lot from our training interventions. But there are times where, after the training program, we receive very phenomenal feedback from our participants, that they like the training, they really enjoyed the training, and they believe that this training is going to be very useful. But what happens over a period of time, organizations realize, and many of the participants realize, and we as a trainer realize, that many of them are not able to implement the learnings of those training programs, in spite of they fully enjoying the training program and fully understanding whatever we were training in the training program. Now, I would invite the trainers now to talk about, what do you think? In some areas, it works beautifully well, but in some areas, we feel that participants, when they start implementing, they go back to their default setting and not able to utilize the full potential of the training. Why does this happen? Let me invite some of your reflections. You can unmute yourself, use the chat box, whichever way you're comfortable.
Rahul, could you repeat your question, please?
Yeah. So my question is, there are times in our training program that people are able to implement most of the things that they have learned in the training program. But there are times that participants are not able to unlock the full potential of the training, or organizations are not able to unlock full potential of the training, because later on, participants have gone back to the default setting and whatever they have learned in the training program has kind of fizzled away. Why does this happen? Jayanti
As
is
a
saying, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry. So
go
as a
ahead.
trainer, what I have observed is, for example, let's say I train a couple of batches on email etiquette, which is a part of soft skills. And, on a daily basis, people do not send a lot of email, maybe because they don't have much production to do. Maybe that's one reason. When there is a gap, they are not able to implement what they have learned in the training. And it becomes a gap, right? And they again go back to the default setting. So again, there should be a refresher training that we need to conduct. And this is what I feel.
Good point. So one of the points that you're saying is there's no refresher and sometimes there is lack of practice. After the training session is over, they have not enough opportunities to implement and practice those situations. Okay,
That's
good.
correct.
Thanks, Jamil, for sharing. And you train people on email etiquettes and
That's good.
corporate
Yeah.
communication?
Yeah, a bunch of lot of soft skill like active listening, email etiquette, corporate etiquette, and confidence building.
Very nice. Very nice. Jayanti is saying in the chat box, saying not applying or retaining the learning. Yeah. So retention is one of the big challenge. They are not able to retain, and many times they are not able to apply. That's right. Gap between intentions and expectations. Yogesh, would you like to talk more about it?
Yeah, thank you. Basically, we are having some intentions. These are predetermined with the means our client, you can say, and we are expecting a lot. Means my intention is to how to learn a particular thing, and I am expecting a lot. There may be a gap between these two things.
So sometimes, we are learning and we are expecting too much too soon, possibly as participants, and in the process, maybe losing motivation.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good perspective, possible. Umang is saying, feel that the initial stage of unconscious incompetence where someone feels that they have learned and understood, but not unconsciously they are, not taking it to use. Okay, fine. Got it. Possible. Training is about repeating. Very good. I think Avinash is a great point. The word training itself means that you go back and do it same thing over and over again. Yeah, that's right. And many a times organization possibly may not understand the power of doing things again and again, or there is no mechanism for participants to do it over and over again till the time it becomes their unconscious competence. That's a good point.
Rahul, here I would like to
Yes.
just add on that what I believe that like in corporate training or whichever kind of trainings that we have, there is one agenda that the boss or the owner or the higher ups, they want something to be implemented, and that is why they are training. But they forget that the bunch of lot that they're training is they have not learned it since their childhood. So that is why the need of repeating it again and again is there. And then we are all coming from different backgrounds, changing hands with the company. So the importance of having that whatever the integral part of that company is, so that repetition is required again and again.
Very good. Very good perspective. Thanks for sharing, Avinash. Kasturi Singh checking the knowledge through tests. So, maybe possibly the lack of measurement is what she's saying. Uh, Riru Malik is saying probably due to pressure, the candidate are unable to apply skills learned at the training. Good point. They may not have got the environment to implement those learnings, and because of some pressures, which could be both physical and emotional in nature, they are going back to what they are used to doing or whatever they are comfortable with.
Sir Kasturi here,
Yes.
I just wanted to put across the point that it also implies we need to understand the audience, probably a pre-preparation before the training and the adult, because it's going to be adult learning, probably, most probably, because these are all adults that we are going to deal, as rightly said by others also, from different walks of life. So I'm sure, as you rightly said, training has to be repeatedly done, which we fail to understand. And, also the checking the knowledge. Maybe when it comes to practicality, maybe a mock calls or a mock test, or
Right.
at the end of the month, maybe a test to measure, as you rightly said, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bhagirath Biswas is saying motivational speaker and transformational trainer. Or maybe possibly this is your introduction. Thanks. Good to know you, Bhagirath, and welcome to the session. Okay, friends, let's move ahead. And most of your perspectives are absolutely bang on. Whenever we look at any training, what we are expecting is some amount of change. Sometimes it could be change in behavior, sometimes there could be change of way of doing things, or learning a new skill, but there is always an element of change that is expected in training and after. Yeah. Now, friend, whenever we are talking about change, change can either be exhausting or it can be empowering. And this is the fundamental of any learning journey. Change can either be empowering or it can be exhausting. In which situations is change empowering and in which situation it is exhausting?
I think if the change is accepted, it is empowering. Otherwise, it's exhausting.
Very good. I think that's the right point. Whenever I want to do it, it's empowering. And whenever I have to do it, it's exhausting. And our job as a trainer, and we also have a responsibility as professional trainers to bring it to the awareness of the L&D departments of various organizations or whichever we are signing up with, to explain this concept. You're saying that if I have to do it, it will always be exhausting. If I want to do it, it will be empowering. I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. I will make a plan. I'll go exercise. I'll run because I want to lose weight. On the other hand, and that's empowering, and I enjoy losing weight in that process. But if in case the doctor tells me, Rahul, if you don't reduce weight, you are up for a trouble. In that case, I have to do it. It is forced on me, and that can become exhausting. It can also be exhausting, as Rishabh is saying, when we don't do proper analysis before delivering the training. And it's a great perspective, Rishabh, and we'll talk more about it as we go along. But our responsibility as professional trainers is to ensure that the change is empowering and not exhausting. So how do we do it, friends? Now, whenever people are going through change, there could be possible resistance to change. Now, there are 3 levels of resistance. The level 1 resistance is, I don't get it. The second level of resistance is, I don't like it. And the third level is, I don't trust. Now, this has been put in 3 levels. This is the degree of criticality and how big the roadblock can be. The level 1 is, I don't get it. Now, which basically means that I'm not understood what is to be done or how it is to be done, which is I'm not getting it. Now, why this resistance happens that I don't get it? Friends, there is a very interesting curve which is called as forgetting curve. Now, as per research, any new thing that is being informed to us or any new understanding that we have gained, what do you think is the retention rate of that? Any new knowledge or any new skill or any new piece of information that is provided to us in any training program? What is the retention rate? Any guesses? You all been to training programs. What is the retention rate of this training program? Now, friends, if it is a structured, Mohammed Kazim is saying 10%, that's interesting. So, friends, in a non-structured environment, which means I am learning something on my own, okay? Or I'm just listening in, not in a proper training setup, which is someone is giving me a piece of information, or I'm listening to a TV, or you're watching a TV, listening to some video on internet, which is a non-structured format, which is not a learning environment. In that case, Mohammed Kazim is very close. Our retention rates are close to 10%. In a more structured learning environment, which is a classroom training kind of, which is where most of us are serving, in that case, the retention rate is approximately 25 to 35. Participants are only able to retain anywhere between 25 to 35%. Now, this piece of information is important information that we should always, and I personally always provide to my clients. When you're doing this training program, great. Let me also tell you, if they're able to retain 25 to 35%, don't panic, because that's natural. That's what they will retain. Now, some of them may get upset. How to handle it, we are going to talk in some time. But the same curve, and sometimes I show this curve to my clients. If we repeat the same session, maybe in a condensed form, we have done a 2-day program for developing a particular skill. People expect people will learn only or retain. They may learn everything. They may learn everything, but they will be able to retain only 25 to 35%. But if we do it one more time, maybe a 2-day session condensed into a 2-hour capsule or a 3-hour capsule, but we repeated most of the things that we have done earlier, the retention rate from 25 to 35% goes straight to 70 to 75% as per research. That's the jump that is seen. And again, I'm talking about more structured classroom sessions, okay, which is people are in a learning environment. If you do it the third time, it goes to beyond 90%. Now, this information is a very important piece of information for all of us as trainers and for the organization. No matter how good a trainer we are, and no matter how intelligent the participants are. Yes, there will be a few exceptions, always. Yeah? But sometimes we also put a lot of pressure on ourselves as a trainer that, if I have given a training in the test, people should score 90%. They may score on day 0. You take the same test on day 7. You will be surprised, it will fall back to 25 to 35%. Yeah. Now, friends, what's the way forward? Now, if I don't get it, it's easy to solve. What's the solution? If we are on the level 1 resistance, that I don't get it, it's easy to solve. What's the solution? Suppose people, and now we know, and I've brought it to your awareness, people will only retain 25 to 35%. So what's the solution? How do we take it up? The repetition, absolutely right. We need to repeat. And if we repeat, we know that it can go from 25 to 35%. It can go straight up to do it one more time, 70, 75%. Most of my proposals, I build this repetition in the proposal. Whenever I'm talking to the L&D professional, I say, we need to repeat this. If you're doing a 3-day session, it's okay if you do a 3-hour session, but that 3-hour session is important. You will have a better ROI. You will have a better, participants will enjoy a lot more. They will be able to retain a lot more. And because they are able to retain a lot more, they will be able to implement a lot. Yeah. Now, friends, this is easy. We can repeat it. But what about the level 2 and level 3 resistance, which is, I don't like it and I don't trust? How do we solve this? I don't like it. I don't like this change. And I don't trust. I don't think so. Participants may feel that I don't think so, that by doing this, it can help or it will be useful for me. Any thoughts, any reflections? How do we solve this? Yeah, Reero Malik is saying here coaching comes into effect. That's absolutely right. Now, some thoughts for you to reflect on. We always learn outside in, which means if I have to learn something, I need external support. I need a trainer, I need a teacher, I need a mentor who can tell me what is the right way of doing it, what's the new way of doing it. I always learn outside in. That's how human beings learn. But I lead from inside out. Whenever I'm implementing change, it has to be inside out. And we'll talk more about this concept. We learn from outside in, but we lead from inside out. When I'm trying to implement it, and that is the time I have to lead that change. When I'm leading that change, it has always inside out. Now, friends, every person goes through this cycle, no matter. So for some of us, this cycle can be short. For some of us, the cycle can be long. And this is a classical Kubler-Ross model, where every human being goes through these 4 stages of change. Stage 1, denial. I don't think so. I have this problem. I don't think so. I need to change this. I don't think so. This way of doing will increase productivity. I don't think so. This will make me a better leader. I don't think so. This will make me a better sales professional. I don't think so. This will increase relationships, which is denial. Now, denial is always hidden. No one can see it. I'm in a denial stage. From denial, I move to resistance, where I show resistance to this change. From there, I start experimenting. I go into exploration stage. And after exploration stage, I reach to commitment, which is again very clearly, closely mapping to unconscious incompetence to unconscious competence. People go through, some of us may go through it very, very fast. So in some situations, we may go it very, very fast. For some of us, and in some situations, we may delay it for a very long period. Are you with me, friends? Are you getting what I'm saying? Yeah. So
Yes, sir.
everyone goes through these 4 stages in every change situation. Now, the best way to handle this is through coaching. And this is where we as trainer have to become a coach. And I always say coach is a catalyst. I always tell this, people say, what is coaching? And there are a lot of definitions of it. I have a very simple definition. I say coach is a catalyst. And we'll talk more about why I believe coach is a catalyst. Let us look at some of the differences, because many of us are not very clear. Some of us are clear what coaching is. Some of us may not be very clear. So let's look at all the 4 definitions one by one. Who's a teacher, friend? Who's a teacher? You can unmute, talk, put in chat box, whichever you're comfortable. Who's a teacher?
Teacher teaches,
Very good.
and without any engagement, it seems like. And no, it is from one side, like whatever the teacher is saying, it is from the one side perspective. Might be two-way communication is there, but still it is very much teacher centric. It is not learner centric, might be.
Okay.
It's question.
So all methods are very good method depending on the situation. And that's why, I'm not saying one is better than the other. Okay. Teaching is a great tool when you have to transfer knowledge, transfer of information, as Yogesh is also saying. Jayanti also mentioned someone who imparts knowledge. Whenever the objective is knowledge transfer, I know chemistry, I can transfer my chemistry knowledge to you. So I'm a teacher. Whenever the requirement is for knowledge transfer, teaching is a great method. Now, these are all methods of learning and development, friends. And we need to understand in which situation, which method works best. For knowledge transfer, teaching works best. And most of our wisdom has come from teaching. We have been taught in schools and colleges. So that environment is a teaching environment. Now, what is a training environment? Who's a trainer? In which situation the training works best?
The training works best when it is more like transferring of skills and which need to be demonstrated might be. So that's where the might be the trainer will be much more effective. It is not only like the technical skills, but even the behavioral skills are also important for the trainers. So it is not more of subject knowledge where you want to inculcate a change in behavior and also the thought process. Then I think the training is more appropriate than training.
Very good.
Like teaching. Sorry.
Very good. Thanks, PG, for sharing. Anyone else? So some of you are also mentioning in the chat, and which is absolutely right. Friends, training works best when you not only have to transfer information or knowledge, but you also have to transfer skills. When you have to not only develop knowledge, but also develop skills in the participants, that is where training is the best method, and that's where the trainer comes into play. Skill gap, we filling the skill gap by sharing information as well as developing skills. Now, this is training. Skills could be soft skills or hard skills. Whenever there is a development of skills, it is training. Now, what is mentoring? In which situation mentoring works best? So now we know transferring knowledge is teaching, transferring skills is
mentoring would be like just to bring out the best in a person, and be empathetic, bring out that you believe in that person and the talent, and you bring out what is best in them, which was never visible.
Okay. Thanks for sharing, Kasturi. That's close. Umang is saying when a person is expert in a particular field and provide us the guidance. Okay. That's very close, Umang. Anyone else? So what Umang is saying, friend, is the closest explanation. Mentor is someone who is an expert in that area and can significantly accelerate the participants' learning journey by guiding and telling what are the ways in which the chances of success is higher and what are the ways in which the chances of failure is higher, where there is an expert who is very clearly guiding the learner in the right direction, and that is mentoring. All three methods are great methods. Teaching, training, mentoring are all great methods depending on the situation and circumstances in which it is being used. Now, how is coaching different? Now, what is coaching? Now, friends, in the earlier slide, we were talking about I don't like it and I don't trust. Now, liking and trust comes from a belief system. I don't believe that this is going to work. I don't believe that this is right. I don't feel that this is going to be useful for me. Now, this is our belief system. And whenever we need to work on the belief system, teaching, training, and mentoring have been found not the best tools. It is not that they're not useful, they are useful, but it may not be the best tool in that situation, because now you're talking about the belief gap. Now, if you have to fill the belief gap, that is where coaching can work beautifully. Because in teaching, training, and mentoring, it is about telling. Coaching is about asking. Coaching is not about telling, but coaching is about asking. And friends, what comes to our mind when we think about coaching? Some of you may have already exposure to coaching. Some of you may be new to coaching. What comes to your mind when you think about a word coach? or a process of coaching?
Sports.
Sports, very good. No, yes, go ahead. Kasturi, you're saying something. Hi, Lydia.
They make you feel comfortable.
Asking the right questions.
Asking the right questions, good point. So friends, whenever we are working on the belief system, now coaching, and in the corporate world, there is always this conflict. And many a times when we talk about sports coaches as well, now some of them actually work like mentors. There are very few of them who actually work like coaches. Although their designation is a coach, but many a times you will find them mentoring. Now, in the corporate world also, you will see that a lot of time people are mentoring. And it is also expected as part of their job. If I'm a manager of some people, it is my responsibility to, because of my own experience, it's my responsibility to tell people which are the ways which is best suited and which are the ways which are less suited. So mentoring sometimes is part of the job, and it's not a bad tool, it's a great tool. But when we change it, now, when a person is very clearly willing to do it, that is the time mentoring works best. But whenever there are roadblocks, which could be emotional in nature, or which could have some belief system conflicts, in that case, it needs to change to coaching, and it has turned out to be the best way to go forward. Let me just pause here and take Yogesh's question. Yogesh, over to you. Yogesh, you have a question? Okay, maybe we're not able to hear us. Okay, let's move ahead, friends. Now let's understand what is coaching. So there are two classical definitions, friends, of coaching. ICF, which is the apex body of coaching, which is called as International Coaching Federation, they define coaching as partnering with a team member or a participant in a thought-provoking and creative process. It's a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. That inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. There's another, world number one coach, Marshall Goldsmith, and I'm also certified from Marshall Goldsmith, who defines coaching as helping successful leaders achieve a positive long-term change in behavior for themselves, their people, and their teams. So it is always a very collaborative, interactive, thought-provoking, and creative process where the person being coached come up with the solutions. Person being coached come up with the solution. Now, friends, as a coaching, and what I'm a PCC from ICF and also Marshall Goldsmith certified coach, and I use coaching a lot in my training intervention. Sometimes I combine training and coaching. Sometimes I do pure play coaching for leaders. I have found this as the most powerful tool to get the belief change system of people change. And once the belief is changed, people are able to unlock their full potential very, very fast. Yeah. Now, if you want to be a good coach, and although we are not getting into the coaching process today, because the objective of the program is slightly different, but let me just pause here and invite you to talk about what do you think are some of the belief systems and qualities to be a good coach. What qualities you need to have in you if you want to be a great coach? And what could be some of your own beliefs as a coach? Good listener is what Avinash is saying. That's right. Yeah.
Can I talk?
Yes, go ahead, please.
I think the ability to connect with the other person and to exactly understand what the other person is wanting to achieve, I think that's a very important point to become a coach. Unless and until we understand what the other person is requiring or what exactly is the lacuna in that particular person's work or personality, we won't be able to coach.
Very good. Your ability to connect with another individual is a great quality which is required in a coach. Thanks for sharing. Jasmine is saying empathy. Yes, empathy is required. Listen to understand is what Varnika is saying. Great point. Mohammad Kazim is saying understand the audience level and accordingly presenting the content, making it more interactive and visualizing. Okay, that's a good point. Now, what are some of the beliefs and qualities of a coach? Anyone else? Any other points? Authenticity. Yeah, absolutely, Jayanti. Coach needs to be authentic. That's one of the competence as well.
Rahul, could you please mute Prasunjit?
Yeah. Now, friends, Yogesh, I will take your question. I have read your point. I'll just take your question in some time. Now, friends, some of the beliefs with which the coaches work. The first belief is people already have all the resources within them to achieve whatever they want. They don't need any external help. They have everything within them to achieve whatever they want. And it comes from the belief that every individual has infinite potential. And they can find solution to all problems that they have. Every behavior has a positive intent in some context. People always make the best choice. Whatever they believe in that situation, they always try to make the best choice. There is no thing called as failure. It's only feedbacks, and change bring change. These are some of the beliefs which the coaches work. And three most essential qualities that is required in a coach is being non-judgmental. Judges never assume, and they always stay neutral. And I will stay at this point of being neutral and take you back to the point that I was making earlier, that I believe, a lot of people ask me what coaching is. I think coach is a catalyst. We all have been chemistry students sometime. What is a catalyst? I'm taking you to grade 6th chemistry. What's a catalyst? Speeds up a reaction. Very good, Avinash. Correct, but not complete. Catalyst speed up the reaction or a process. That's true.
Catalyst changes in you. You transform.
It basically significantly accelerates a chemical reaction.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's still incomplete. There is a comma. There is some more quality. Anything that can accelerate a chemical reaction may not be a catalyst. What is a catalyst? It accelerates a chemical process. That's true. Without physically or chemically getting involved in that process. So catalyst is something that accelerates the process of a chemical reaction without getting involved in that process. Yeah, absolutely, Maksud. It brings the change without so as a coach, you can empathize, but you cannot get involved in that problem. And doctors exhibit it very well. They also believe in the same process. They never get involved in the problem of their patient, and they still solve it. Yeah. So that's how coaches also operate. Now, friends, there are two fundamental skills of coaching. What are the fundamental skills of coaching? People already have mentioned this: asking powerful question and active listening. They are the two fundamental skills that are required by coaches. Ability to ask powerful questions and active listening. And it is said leaders are not those who have authority, experience, and knowledge to tell, but leaders are those who have capability to ask powerful questions. Now, friends, we have been discussing and we will get into the coaching process at some time. But right now we are talking as trainers. What are some of the benefits if we are able to integrate coaching along with training? If you are able to integrate coaching along with training. The first benefit, friends, is it is more empowering, because any training is a change process. We are expecting some change in behaviors and skills. It is more empowering if we are adding coaching along with training. It creates a positive and permanent change. The change is not temporary, change is permanent if we add coaching to it, because it is coming from the belief system. It results in better performance and productivity, both for the participants as well as for the organization. Higher engagement and satisfaction of the employees. Better employee retention for organization because they are engaged for a longer period of time. It helps in leadership development. Build a bond between trainer and participant. Even if you're not coaching, but if you're using some of the coaching techniques as part of your training, it builds a great bond between trainer and participant. It has a better ROI for organization. And sometimes organization may not believe it. I'll tell you what are some of the questions that you can ask to the L&D team and to the organization, which will make them believe that yes, it brings in better ROI. And it is also time and resource effective for trainers. It is better use of time. You are spending more time with one client, you get better remunerated, and you are able to demonstrate better impact with the participants. So it's both time and resource effective for the trainers as well. Friends, let me just pause here and see if you have any questions before I move to how to integrate. Now we are seeing what are the benefits of integrating, but now we are going to talk about how do we integrate it. And this is coming from some of our own practices with our clients. What are the best way of integrating training with coaching? Let me just pause for a few seconds and take any questions. Okay, so I think let's move ahead then. If there are no questions, what's the best way to integrate? Now, how to integrate? I always put this into 4 blocks. The first block is training the target group. Whenever you are, and this is the best approach. Now, it needs a lot of discussion with the clients to make them convinced on this approach. But I've seen once they're convinced, it gives them better results and it gives trainer better remuneration. The first block of this is the training that we are signing up for. We are training, there's a target group of participants whom we are training. So the first block is training. Once the training is done, you can look at 2 options. One is the reinforcement, which is you follow up on the same training with maybe a condensed module in 30 to 45 days. Now, this needs to be explained to our clients because many a times they may not be aware or agreeing to this because they will say, okay, we'll do it after 6 months. No, it has to be done between 30 to 45 days. Sooner, the better. There has to be a refresher or reinforcement of the same learning. The other option is you can train the manager because there's someone who need to reinforce. And you as a trainer, maybe you're able to reinforce once or maximum twice. But if you're able to involve, just give me a second, please. Sorry. Now, the second option is If organization is convinced that yes, we need to reinforce it again and again, you can also sign up for training the managers who can do these reinforcements, in their regular meetings, in their regular catch-ups in their office. Whichever path you're choosing, and let's go path by path. Suppose you're taking a path of reinforcing as a trainer in 30 to 45 days. It can then be followed up by coaching. You can suggest that once the follow-up session is done, you will spend time with each participant and coaching them. Now, there could be various situations. Maybe everyone may not need coaching. Maybe there could be a smaller set of people who need coaching. Sometimes they need group coaching. Some people may need individual coaching. Now, why coaching needs to fit in as part of the learning journey? Because my resistance for change, if there are 20 participants, the resistance for change for all 20 of them can be very different. Someone may say, I don't get it. Someone may say, I don't like it. Someone may feel, I don't trust on this change. Now, and the degree of them can also be very, very different. I always tell to my clients that the real objections or obstacles participants will face only once the rubber hits the road. It's very good to tell in the training session, and they will learn, and they have all intentions to do it. But whenever they start implementing, they do it once, they do it twice. If it is not working, they go back. If people are very motivated, they may try it one more time. They try it one more time. If it works, great, you have a change. But if it is not working out, there is a possibility the person may fall back, no matter how much the person is convinced that this change is important. And hence, that is where your role as a coach, as a catalyst, comes into play, where you are spending time with each one of them, asking them where the problems are, and helping them make the right action plan. Once the coaching is done, you can carry on the engagement with the same clients in two more ways. Either you can train the same participants on another skill, or make an upgrade program. You can have different levels of the same training, depending on how the engagement has gone. And the longer you stay, the learning experience significantly increases, because the chemistry and the bond between trainer and participant is already established. So once the period of whatever coaching assignment is for 6 months, 9 months is completed, you can propose another level up of the same program, or identify new skills to develop. And by then, organization will also have a much higher confidence and trust in your capabilities, and this cycle can kind of continue forever. Yeah. The other approach is you bring in also the managers into the training, another training for managers, where you are helping them reinforce. You can go ahead and coach managers. And once the managers are coached, you can also build coaching capabilities within the managers. So you can run manager as a coach training sessions. So these are two ways where I have seen great amount of success with the organization. Start with the normal training, propose a follow-up or a reinforcement session, leading to coaching sessions, and then either upgrade or identifying new needs. Other route is involve the managers who can do this reinforcement, coach those managers, and then train those managers to become coaches, help them become better coaches. So these two approaches has worked beautifully in many situations. Let me just pause here and take your questions if you have any. So if there are no questions, let's move ahead, friends. And now let's talk about what are some of the challenges. So this looks great, but it's not, some of you may be thinking it's not it's good to say, but it may not be easy to implement. That's true. It may not be very easy to implement, and you can expect following challenges while you're integrating coaching along with training. What are some of the challenges that you may face? First is awareness of coaching, both with the trainers as well as with the organization. They may not be fully exposed to this concept of coaching, and which means that you will have to educate them quite a lot, that what is coaching, how it can influence, so on and so forth. Sorry, friend, just give me a second. Yeah. Second is the coaching capabilities. If you already have coaching capabilities, great. Otherwise, I would encourage you to do a structured program where you can build coaching capabilities. Let me tell you, your ROI as a trainer will be much higher, both financially as well as impact on delivery of training. Both get significantly improved. You can influence on long-term interventions. One of the challenges that you may face is finding it difficult to influence organization to sign up for a long-term intervention in one go. Let me give a classic example. I did a training for one organization, and it's okay to go step by step. Once the training program is over, although I proposed a full module to them, they said, can we start with one and take others at a later stage? Let us get convinced with your style. I think that's a fair expectation, because they don't know me, I don't know them, they're trying it out. Once the training program was over, they got a good response. They said, okay, fine, let's do a catch. Once we did a follow-up session, they said, okay, fine, let's do coaching. Once the coaching is done, they said, okay, fine, we like it. What next? I said, we can do an upgrade, or we can identify new skills. And now we have a 3 years agreement with but it will happen, and those are some of the challenges that you will face, and we have to overcome it one by one. Other challenge that you may face is budgets. Organization for one intervention may not get easily convinced for spending a lot of budgets. One of the challenge that you may also face is organizational L&D maturity. How matured they are in terms of taking a longer punts on those interventions, and there could be time constraints. There could be some constraints on timing as well. So these are some of the challenges that you may face, but they are, with practice and with a little bit of persistence, they can be overcome, because it needs a lot of advising and coaching to L&D professionals and management to sign up for an integrated module of training combined with coaching. Having said that, in all situations, it may not be required, but in most situations, it's a good way to go about it. So on that note, friend, this is what I had to share. Let me open it up for questions. And as a good trainer, we also have to finish in time. It's 8 o'clock. And that's what we have promised. So let me take, if you have any questions on what I have shared, happy to answer those questions. I will also take up the question that Yogesh has mentioned earlier, that he needs a little more elaboration on mentoring, which I will do. And in the meantime, you can think about your question. I'm asked, and till the time I answer Yogesh's question. So Yogesh, mentoring is where an expert, I suppose I'm good at sales, and I've spent a lot of years in sales. I know in which situations things will work well, in situations things may go wrong. And I'm guiding my participant to become a successful sales professional. Now that's mentoring, where I'm exactly telling, it's like a doctor's prescription. I'm exactly telling, if you do this, your chances of success is higher. If you do this, your chances of success is lesser, which means it's a very clear guidance and advice that I am giving as a mentor. The only difference, even the counselor does the same. The difference between mentor and counselor will not get. And we are not getting into counseling right now. But the difference is, in counseling, you are expected to follow. But in mentoring, the final choice whether to take it or not is left to the mentee. Mentor will not enforce the implementation, whereas in counseling expects someone is going to counseling, it is expected that you will follow it. But mentor is a guidance. The final decision of implementing or not is left to the participant or the mentee. Is it clear, Yogesh, now? So Kasturi is asking a question: how much a structured training help in our career as a trainer? Kasturi, can you please elaborate on a question? If you can unmute yourself, it would be better.
Yeah, sure, sir. So I just wanted to know, let us take an example. I'm a trainer and I'm actually planning to go through your structured program. And I'm intending to complete the CPD modules and SHRM and other modules. So how is it going to help me to accelerate in my career? I am already a trainer. I'm a senior trainer.
Right.
So I'm trying to ensure in my present organization, my present job role, I wanted to get to the next level. So to get an edge over others, or you know, an edge over maybe the competencies that I may have, and to just increment that a bit. So do you think that will help me in my present career? I'm into life insurance and I train distributors and managers. I develop their skills and also I coach them.
Very nice. So if you're already doing a structured program, Kasturi, that's great. And it will help you in many ways. So let me call out some of the areas in which coaching as a skill will help you. One, it will make your interventions much more effective. It will, because you're learning it in a structured manner, it will accelerate the learning cycle for your participants. So that's the first advantage. Second advantage is it makes you a better trainer. Because you're able to, depending on the situation, because there could be some situation even within the training session where you realize that you are fighting with the belief system of some participants. It's not a skill, but it is a belief system of the participant. In that case, you can use some of the coaching techniques, reverse the cycle, and work with the belief system a little bit. The third in which it will help is, many organizations are now looking for a trainer who also have coaching capabilities. Even when this, both in your professional career as well as when they are signing up with you for an assignment, it is very effective for the organization to sign up with someone who is a trainer and a coach. As the awareness is increasing, they are appreciating this fact that you can train and you can coach. Which means they can have a much more structured and longer developmental intervention with you. So both as a professional trainer for organization, or as a practicing trainer or a freelance trainer, in both aspects, it significantly increases your prospects, and also differentiate you from other trainers, because you have additional capability of coaching, and you can integrate the two. Yeah. Does it answer your question, Kasturi?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm going to start from the 6th May.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Thank you, sir.
Any other question from anyone, friends? Okay, so if there are no further questions, I'm also joined by Dr. Aparna, who is our founder and director. If you have any questions with respect to anything apart from what we have discussed today, we are happy to answer. Okay, so I would now invite you to write your biggest takeaway from this session. Use the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and talk about what is your biggest takeaway from the session we discussed today.
Hey, Rahul, for me, it was, I've always been thinking about, think, reading about it, but things were not very clear how it is done. I think the perspective is clear now, that which direction to move and how to go about it. Yes, it was very informative today.
Okay, thank you. Kasturi is saying the difference between trainer and a coach.
Hey Rahul, good evening. Sumit this side.
Hi Sumit, how are you?
I'm doing good, Rahul. How are you?
Very well.
Yeah. So the biggest takeaway is like, there is always a scope of learning for a trainer is what I got to see. The second stage of, as a trainer, you get to understand the organization's, requirements, and you go ahead and train on them. But as a coach, you also get to understand the human behavior as well. And, there are levels of, trainings that you can propose to an organization that also helps you to upgrade your skills as well. And I got to learn that, as a coach, you be non-judgmental towards people, withhold your judgments, and go ahead and train, the respective audience. And I also got to understand how is that, you can go ahead and propose the, other levels of trainings on the same topic as well. At the same time, you also get to see whether the participants are able to implement the practices that they have learned in the training. So that also gives you a sense of satisfaction as a coach, that you are able to bring out the return on investment for an organization as well. Yeah. So thank you so much. This session has really given a great clarity as to what are all the scope a trainer has. Apart from being a TTT certified trainer, what other scopes does a trainer has to improve his skills and upgrade himself as well. Yeah. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sumit, for sharing. And also, Sumit, happy to share with you. We already have a program which is corporate trainer and facilitator certification, which is a 2-week program.
Yeah.
And there is 1 month of internship and soft skill booster. Now, there was a very, request that was coming to us, and we have introduced a new program, which is certified practitioner coach program, which can be added to very useful for trainers if they want to learn coaching skills, how coaching is done. And I would invite you to have a look at that program. It's a very interesting program that we have created, which is again a 4-day program, where we will be taking you through step by step the entire coaching process, and how you can start your coaching journey. And after those sessions, you will be able to practice as a coach.
Sure, Rahul. Sure, Rahul. Definitely. I'll have a look on it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
This is Sindhu from Chennai.
Hi, Mona.
Yeah, hi. So it was a great session I had. I just got a sense of coach training, integration, how we separate the coach and everything. So currently I'm working as a communicative and a soft skill trainer in a private company. So what kind of courses can I take up for the future enhancement in my development?
Mona, what are you currently, what's your current profile?
Yeah, I'm working as a soft skill and a communicative trainer.
Okay. You're doing it for some organization, or you're on your own?
No, I'm doing it for an organization, for a fresher, for a professionals, as well as the students who have completed their graduations. Them, they are giving a communication and a soft skill.
Very nice. Okay. So, are you in touch with any of our advisors, Mona?
No, sir, I'm yet to join the course. Actually,
Okay.
I'm planning to join the course by June only.
By June,
So,
okay.
yeah. Right. So since you have given me suggestion means it will be helpful for me.
Sure. So you have two options. One is are you already a certified trainer?
No, I'm not a certified.
You're
Through
not a
my
certified.
experience, yeah.
Okay. So I would suggest that you should definitely do a corporate trainer and facilitator certification first. Okay.
Oh.
Along with that, you should add a coaching certification. But first, I would suggest do a corporate trainer facilitator certification and top it up with a coaching so that your entire journey, both as a trainer and coach, learning journey is completed, and then you can start implementing it with the organization.
Okay, fine. Thank you for your suggestion.
And if you want to, discuss in person with me or Dr. Aparna, you can speak to one of our advisor and they will help you get in touch. Are you in touch with any one of us? Because your name is
Yes,
familiar to me.
sir. I'm not sure about the name, sir. Actually, he sent me the link of attending webinar. Nishant, I suppose.
Nishant. Okay, fine. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So I'll ask Nishant to get in touch with you.
Yeah, sure.
Jasmine is saying, is it easy to transform from trainer to a coach? Absolutely easy. Absolutely easy. There's absolutely no problem. In fact, you can become a coach even without a trainer, but pure play coaching as a concept is still emerging. What people are, especially the corporate world, is more comfortable is combining training with coaching. Although there are some assignments which are available only as a coach, but it's very easy. I would not say transform, but add on coaching to your training. That will be a good combination. You don't have to transform from trainer to a coach, but be a trainer and be a coach depending on what is best suited for the participant. You can adapt to the situation. So be a trainer and a coach. Kasturi Singh, can I have it with the same sessions or after that? You can have it together because the dates are different. That is your choice. Either you want to have it together or you can want to do it separate. Choice is yours. But if you're planning to do it separate, first do training certification and then do coaching. Is the best way to go about. But you can do it parallel as well, not a problem. Kasturi, are you in touch with any of our advisors?
Sir, I'm in touch with Poonam. She's really very efficient. She only told me to come today.
Okay, that's so nice.
Thank you.
I'll ask Poonam to get in touch. Okay, so POS trainer, how it will help us. Okay, good. So you can top it up with POS trainer. So if you are very clear that you want to, because POS training again has a great scope in the area of POS, gender sensitization, unconscious bias, diversity and inclusion. Those are the topics that you can train people on as a POS trainer. And then you can also add it up coaching to that. So that's also a good combination. But it depends on your interest, what kind, because if you're doing POS training, you other avenues also open up for you. So for example, you can be a external member on IC committee, you can be a POS consultant, you can be a POS trainer. So the avenues for that, a lot of avenues open up there as well. It depends on what you want to teach people, what you want to train people on. Because objectives are slightly different. But yeah, coaching can be combined to both. What I would suggest is, Kasturi, request Poonam to fix up your time with Dr. Aparna so that she will be in a better position to guide you whether you should do POS or corporate trainer and facilitator certification depending on your interest area.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Jayanti is asking what's the difference between facilitating and coaching? Okay, they're very different. When you're facilitating, the objective is to train people. When you're facilitating, the objective is to tell, not to ask. Coaching, the objective is to ask and let people find their own solution. When you're facilitating, you are telling. It's like training. The difference between training and facilitating is in training, you are training on the approach that has been designed and created by you for those participants. When you're facilitating, you are using someone else's process or approach and then using it. So that's the main difference. But at a concept level, facilitating and coaching are different. Although both are for development of participants, but the approach is different. Jayanti, does this answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
So do you have any different portfolio or course for facilitations, or I think this entire corporate training will do? That will help, right? Or do you have
Yes,
any?
corporate training facilitation program will do, because the only difference in facilitation, that the big difference in facilitation versus training is you don't have to get into instructional design and content creation, because that is done by someone else. You are training people on instructional design and content which has been tested, proven, and then you're facilitating the process. So let me give you an example. If I am a sales trainer and I am creating a instructional design and training content after understanding the need of people, of the organization and the participants, then I'm playing a role of a trainer. But suppose organization is very clear that they want to implement, or after the need analysis, we realized that we need to use an existing model that exists. Say, for example, spin model or medic model. These are already ready-made, tested models done with various organizations. Then I'm not training, then I'm facilitating a process which is already existing, and facilitation. Say, for example, a lot of process trainers are there in the organization. They're not creating anything new.
Yes.
There is a process that exists. They're using exactly the same process. Yeah. Yes, Yogesh, your question, please. But yeah, Kasturi, answering your question, you can do both in the same program.
Sure.
And the certificate that you get is a corporate trainer and facilitator.
Sure, great. Thank you.
Yes, Yogesh.
I have raised one question. It was what exactly is mentoring, and can you elaborate it with some example? Because I'm still getting confused with mentoring and coaching.
Okay.
Thanks, Rahul.
So I think I addressed it. Maybe you missed it. Let me explain again, Yogesh. Mentoring is when you are guiding someone using your expertise, and you exactly tell people which are the ways in which you can be successful and which are the ways where your chances of success is less. So you are very clearly guiding someone on the winning path. So both are developmental initiative. In mentoring, a mentor need to be an expert in that area who can exactly tell what is the best course of action, which guides the participant to the best course of action. That is mentoring. Is mentoring clear to you, Yogesh? Say, for example, you wanted some examples. So suppose I have been a sales professional for 25 years. I'm also a sales trainer. I have led organization in sales. I can guide people on the right selling approach and which approach in which situation has a higher possibility of win. And I'm telling them that, telling them, guiding them, advising them what needs to be done. So then I'm playing a role of a mentor. Is this clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Now moving to coaching. Okay. Now, as a coach, I am trying to develop a sales professional. Then my belief is that this person has all the resources to become a better sales professional. Now I am helping that person design its own action plan to become a better salesperson, and then creating helping the person create an action plan and getting it implemented. Then I'm playing the role of a coach, then my suggestion, my experience does not matter. What the participant believe or the coachee believe is more important. So that's coaching.
Okay. Yes, got it. Thank you, Rahul.
Thanks you. Thanks for asking the question. Okay, any other question from anyone, friends? Okay, so if there are no questions, let me just, because there were some people who were inquiring, let me just put the brochures in the chat box. One second. I'm not sure whether it was dropped by someone already. So friends, in the chat box, for your reference, I'm dropping the brochure for certified practitioner coach. I'm dropping the brochure for corporate trainer and facilitator program, and I'm also dropping the brochure for post train the trainer certification. You can have a look at it. And if you need more information, you can contact any of our career advisors by visiting our website, or you can also directly contact them on this number. There's an India number that I'm providing. You can reach us on this number as well. Okay, so it's time to say goodbye. Preeti, over to you. Aparna, anything that I missed? Which
Thank you so much. Okay, any other questions? Anything? Now the floor is open for everyone. If you have any other questions, Dr. Aparna, ma'am is there today in our webinar. As usual, she is always present in the webinars. So any questions, anything would you like to ask to Dr. Aparna and Mr. Rahul Sethi, sir? Please, you can unmute yourself or you can put it in the chat box as well. Thank you.
I think everyone has asked whatever they had to.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So we can conclude the session.
Sure, sir.
Okay, everyone. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining in and thanks for taking out time. It was a pleasure interacting with all of you. Good luck and stay in touch. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Good night, everyone. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye. Take care. Bye.